For weeks now, we've been talking about power, manipulation, ideology, and the way that governments and institutions have failed us, the people. But critique without vision leads us nowhere. So tonight, I want to talk about something more constructive, something unifying, and something hopeful. Because if governments want to break down borders culturally, politically, and economically, then maybe it's time that we, the ordinary people, did something different. Not by raising who we are, but by reclaiming what we share. Because the West is not just a collection of countries, it's a civilization built upon ideas. Ideas that don't belong to one race, one religion, or one ethnicity, but to anybody willing to live by them. And the Western tradition is built upon a few core principles. The rule of law, where no one is above it. Individual liberty, that's the freedom of speech, belief, conscience, and expression. Democratic accountability, that's where governments serve us, the people, not the other way around. And equality before the law, this is that rights come with responsibilities and they apply to everybody. Pluralism, the ability to live together peacefully despite disagreements. And these ideas, they didn't appear by accident. They were paid for through struggle, debate, sacrifice, and sometimes blood. And they're very fragile. So what's happening now is not simply a mass movement of people, it's a loss of confidence in values. Because governments talk endlessly about diversity, but rarely about shared standards. They promote tolerance, but avoid saying what must be tolerated and what must not be tolerated. They manage populations, but they no longer lead cultures. And when values aren't clearly defended, they don't remain neutral, they simply dissolve. So here's the alternative. Unity doesn't come from erasing borders or pretending differences don't matter. It comes from clear expectations. Anyone can belong to the West, regardless of background, if they genuinely commit to its civic foundations. And that means democracy over theocracy, law over mob rule, free speech over enforced silence, peaceful coexistence over sectarian dominance, rights balanced with duties. This isn't exclusion, it's integration with purpose. A free society cannot survive if it refuses to define itself. And here's the truth that many are afraid to say plainly. You can be welcoming without being naive. You can be open without being weak. You can be pluralistic without surrendering the foundations that make pluralism possible. If governments won't articulate this, then the people must. Across Europe, North America, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, ordinary citizens share far more in common with each other than any distant political elites. Families, work, freedom, safety, a future for their children. And that's the real border worth defending. Not lines on a map, but lines of principle. And those lines are open to anyone willing to stand on the right side of them. And this isn't about going backwards. It's about remembering why the West worked. A free democratic civilization isn't automatic. It only survives if people consciously choose it and are willing to defend it. And that's how we unite the West. Not by fear, not by force, but by shared values, clearly stated, confidently defended, and genuinely open to all who wish to live by them. Stay awake, people.